Luis Rodriguez, the uncle of the missing child. Luis, first of all, our hearts go out to you. We want to be helpful. Thank you for joining us exclusively tonight. We want to keep this story alive. We want to solve this mystery, and we hope, just as you do, to bring this child back home safe and sound. Why are you speaking out publicly now for the very first time? I understand that there is a statement that you would like to read from your sister and her husband, the parents of missing Isabel.
Yes, we want to first of all thank everyone for their prayers and the love that we have received, especially from the community. All their prayers. We want to continue to pray for Isa's safe return, and ask everyone to just continue to keep their eyes open for Isabel. We do understand that Rebecca and Sergio, they want to come out and continue to speak with the media as well. We're just trying to. Our main focus is to bring Isabel home safe and sound, and we just don't want anything to jeopardize any of the investigation going on at this moment.
How are all of you doing as a family? We saw Becky and Sergio, the parents of little Isa, holding each other today. Every time we have seen them, they're emotional, they're crying. How are you all holding up? What is this like for those who have no idea?
This is just something that, it's something that you never think it could happen to you. You wish that it doesn't happen to you, and you think that it's never going to happen to you, but it's just a feeling that you never want to go through. It's just very hard for the family. We're trying to be everybody close together and support for what's going on.
It must seem like just a terrible dream, and I've heard people, I've interviewed many people who have lost their children, whose children have disappeared, and they say it's like a nightmare. They wake up to a nightmare and they keep thinking they're going to wake up and it's going to all be a dream, and it never is. Do you feel a little bit like that, Luis?
Absolutely, and it's the whole family that's going through the same thing. We go to sleep and we hope that it's just a nightmare, and we wake up and we're still in the same situation.
Let me ask you, where and when did you hear that your niece was missing?
I was at work at the moment when I got the first notice, and I came right away to assist for the look of Isabel.
Well, one of the neighbors, the immediate next door neighbor, said that an uncle had knocked on her door and said, "We're looking for a child." Were you the one going around and knocking on the doors?
No, and I do not know anything of that, and so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
What are the parents doing every day? Because it's been about 13 days, and we saw them going into the house with detectives yesterday, one after the other, but they're not staying at the house. What are they doing on a day-to-day basis? Because we don't see them out, let's say, in the neighborhood, let's say, looking, behind shrubs, but obviously they're working hard to find their daughter. What are they doing?
There's really nothing that we could do except for wait and wait for any updates that the investigators bring us. And we're usually every day, we're always together and just praying to God to bring us home safely.
Luis, he's a dental hygienist, is my understanding, as well as an opera singer. Your sister is a hospital nurse. They have no criminal history. They've never had, to our knowledge, police come to the house. They've never had Department of Children and Families come to this house. They've had no history of marital turmoil, absolutely nothing. Now, they have made reference a couple of times to people who might be making demands, people who might have taken this child. Do you know any reason why anybody would want to exact revenge on them? Anybody who might have a gripe against them or a member of the family? No,
we don't know anybody who would even think about doing something like that, and especially the family. The family is very close, and there's really no reason why anybody would want to commit some type of act like that.
Have you seen the inside of little Isabel's room? Was it ripped up? We understand that there was a screen knocked out. Was there turmoil in there, like somebody had done something?
At the moment, I can't really discuss in regards to anything inside the house, so I wouldn't be able to tell you at this time.
All right. Well, how are the brothers doing? I saw one older brother. He looked maybe to be about 11 or 12. He went into the house yesterday with detectives, and I understand there's another brother. How old are those boys exactly, and how are they holding up?
They've lost a sibling. I mean, they want their sister back, and their main concern is for her to come back safe and sound. That's their main concern, and they're really sad about the situation. They love her to death, and they're never going to stop looking for her.
It must be difficult to explain to kids that age what's going on. Now, I understand the parents took polygraphs. Did they pass? What about that? Did they tell you anything about that experience? Because we just heard that just today from the police.
At the moment, I'm not aware of any polygraphs that they've taken or anything like that. I'm not liable to say at this moment.
Okay. Let me just ask you this question about the dogs. Because a neighbor said she was woken up at 6:30 in the morning, her dog barked, and then she heard the Celis' dogs bark, and she heard men's voices. And that was right around the time, just a couple hours before, maybe an hour and a half before the child was discovered missing. Did you hear anything from your sister about the dogs barking that day? I understand the way the layout of the house is. I've seen a floor map. It might have been hard for them to hear if the dogs were barking on the other side of the house. Any thoughts on that at all?
Once again, I mean, these questions are mainly for the investigators. We are at this moment, we cannot answer any type of those types of questions. If a neighbor saw that or heard, that's their perception of what happened, and at this time we cannot discuss anything in regards to that.
All right. Well, Louis, first of all, I want to thank you for joining us exclusively. Again, my heart goes out to you. We are all here with the right intention, trying to help out. It breaks my heart to see this beautiful little girl and wonder what happened to her. We want to be helpful. If you have any information at all, tell us, and we will get it out for you, we promise. And we want to stay on top of this because news coverage does help keep the focus on a case like this.